Hello, friends. Welcome to Pod Maverick After Dark, your premier podcast to get Dune 2 takes. Now that Josh Poe and I have each witnessed the movie, we're here to do a review of the film. And Denny Villa, how the hell do you say his name?
You're asking the wrong person, Kirk.
Oh, well, the joke is dead.
Denny
The Dallas Mavericks just got shellacked by the Indiana Pacers again. 137 to 120 in a game that for me broke me. Josh, how are you?
I'm doing okay. How broken are you? Are you mad broken or sad broken? Because I think there's two different ones.
I don't care. That's even
sad.
worse.
Apathy
broken?
broken?
I'm apathetic. Like,
oof, that's worse than sad.
I was doing some math, and so I've obviously been a Mavs fan since 99, maybe 98. Yeah, 99. I'm not gonna lie. It was the second half of Dirk's rookie year. Really doing what we do here and getting league pass. I've watched north of 850 Mavs games live. And I've watched a lot of terrible fucking basketball.
You have.
We all have. You know, following post-title stuff, we've all watched some terrible basketball. But when you get a player like Luka Doncic and you build towards something, the expectations rise. And sometimes with that rise in expectations, things become not fun. Unfortunately, due to just years of ineptitude and bad decisions that attempt to fix other bad decisions, we have a Dallas Mavericks team that is so, at the moment, so perpetually unserious, I don't fucking care. Where are you?
Well, I've talked about this before, where I think I've been doing this part of the game so long, the media side.
Yeah, you're dead. You've been dead.
Not necessarily because of like sad, but just I've been doing the media part of it that kind of beats the fan part out of you, because I'm just trying to look at the game, I don't know, at a different vantage point. So I don't have the same rage that I did maybe in 2019 or 2020 or any time before that. But this game, I think about this game, the thing that just jumped out to me is there have been a lot of discussions and talk about the Mavericks just need to do this or they need to do that. As in, they just need to play Tim Hardaway Jr. less. They need to play Gafford more. They need to not play Maxi Kleber at the 5. And I feel like something that me and you have been trying to get at during this losing stretch, which is now, I believe, 5 out of the last 6 games, 3 in a row, is that the way that they are losing these games is going beyond bench players being reshuffled in the rotation. Because let's be clear, Tim Hardaway Jr., Maxi Kleber, Daniel Gafford, who are Jaden Hardy, if you want to include him, the players people are talking about that need to be in different spots, they are all bench players. All of them are bench players. All of them have been bench players most of their careers. You are not solving losing by 17 to 18 points to good teams by giving bench players exceptionally larger roles. This has gone beyond that. And to point that out and to make further prove my point, Daniel Gafford played the most minutes of any Mavericks big tonight. He played 21 minutes. Lively played 16. Kleber played 15. Tim Hardaway Jr. played 13 minutes, a shade under 13 in the official box score. It was like 12:58. Easily the lowest amount of minutes he's played in a game this season. Maxi Kleber played 15 minutes, also pretty low for what he's been doing.
Maxi Kleber played basketball tonight?
He did. He shockingly did.
What a loser of a game that guy had. I'm sorry to pick somebody out of the fucking lineup. 15 minutes, 0 for 3, 1 rebound, 3 personal fouls. You cardio master. Just a good-looking German guy out there for a run. Fucking dork.
So you are a little angry. So let me, but yeah.
So the box score, I didn't realize he was a non-contributing 0.
The box score is bleak. But what I'm trying to get at is this is proving what we've been trying to talk about is if you played Tim Hardaway Jr. 0 minutes, if you played Gafford, I mean, he played 21. What are you going to play him like
Why do we have 500 people in this room? What is going on?
Oh, this is it. I mean, it was. I think everyone is kind of given up after the fan base is
come to the sad party.
Yeah. I mean, Bob Sturm has said call Bud tonight. Like, I think
Bob Sturm said that.
Yes, we're losing the most faithful are losing faith tonight. I mean, the broadcast was pretty mad. I don't know if you noticed.
I couldn't get them. I have a ridiculous cable service. I could not get Valley Sports Southwest.
Oh yeah.
Honestly, I don't really like listening to them most nights because they tell people things that are the most rose-colored horse shit. I don't want to watch it.
Yeah, no comment. I'll let you take that one. But I will say, they're normally pretty even keel emotionally during a game. Obviously Followick gets excited when the team's playing well, but that's every play-by-play guy. It's not, it's natural. They were pretty frustrated, and they don't normally get that frustrated during games. Like it felt like the Charlotte loss a little bit. Like just the emotion and the vibe from everything going around the game, from fans watching, the players on the court. But yeah, to put a button on my point, and then we can go on and we can start breaking down this game individually. The way this team is playing and the way that they're getting exposed goes beyond shuffling some of these guys around. At a certain point, there's coaching, there's tactics. That's also not good. And at a certain point, your best players have to get you out of a funk. Like, I'm not going to go on a big rant right now. Maybe we'll follow it through here, but
I need a Josh rant.
I personally don't care about Daniel Gafford's minutes or Maxi's minutes or Tim's minutes in this time. When you're losing by 17 points, you're down 18 to the Sixers in the fourth quarter. We're not talking about games where they lose on the margins, except for the Cleveland game excluded. Sure. Every other game besides that has been a blowout in the fourth quarter for the most part. You don't make up that difference playing Daniel Gafford 6 more minutes.
No, not with how he gets beat on stuff.
At a certain point, your best players have to pull you out from the hole. And we can go into the details on why that's not happening, because I think there's a specific thing that is happening to this team right now. We've talked about it before. It's the way they're being guarded. Like,
oh, yeah. Okay.
Obvious. Yeah. We've talked about it before, but there's a reason why things are happening. And the only way this changes is from the top down. Changes if the coaching staff tries to change some things up tactically, and it changes if your best players can do some different things. I'll just leave it at that until we get into the details.
Well, I mean, so just recapping the game. Which, what people are probably not here for. Lord knows what y'all are here for. Welcome to the show. This game was fun. The first half of this game was fun. You had a lot of back and forth. You had no defense, getting absolutely destroyed by gosh, why am I bad? I'm sorry. I'm out of it. But Miles Turner going to work in the first quarter.
Euless Trinity's own, baby.
14 points in the first quarter, I'm pretty sure Miles Turner had. And, the Mavericks found answers. The Pacers went on a pretty good run to end the quarter up 35-32. But, like, Dallas was showing some signs of life from a number of different people. Second quarter, kind of more of the same. The Mavericks found themselves down by 9 to 10 points at one point. Like,
they were down 9 with a minute left in the first half.
Yeah, and they kind of got lucky going into halftime down 4. Yep. 74-70. Again, giving up 74 points in a NBA half in the year 2024 is real bad. Real bad, guys. Just real bad. Team effort, real bad. The second quarter, the third quarter starts, and it took 3 possessions for this game to be over, in my opinion. 3 possessions. The Mavericks start out with a fast break where Kyrie Irving has a clear left-handed layup path to the basket, slows down for some reason, and throws a truly horrible lob. And then Derek Lively gets his own miss off the lob, which was nice, but then gets his shit sent back in his own face. What was the next play? It was awful. It was the game was done. Like, the Mavericks had a chance to come out and take momentum, and momentum was taken right out in front of them. Coach Kidd, to his credit, called a timeout 2 minutes into the quarter. He does not do that. He sensed the game was slipping away from him and them. The Mavericks simply had no answer. They played 3.5 more minutes of really disheveled basketball and were down. What were they down by the middle of the third quarter? It was they were down by 15 points with 5 minutes and 26 seconds left. 17 points, excuse me. And that was the game was over at that point. The game was absolutely over. So that's just the nature of things. It's one of those deals where I find myself just increasingly frustrated watching this team because I don't necessarily have an answer. I suppose Jason Kidd and the coaching staff feels the same way.
Well, Kirk, can we start with the first quarter and the first half where Miles Turner scored 20 points in the first half, doing the exact same thing that he did when the Mavericks played the Pacers last week?
So there's like zero adjustment.
Zero. Literally doing the exact same thing, playing drop. I tweeted, and sometime during the first quarter, I was like, no one asked me, but if I saw what Turner did to me in that first game, I would put PJ Washington on Turner, switch every Turner Halliburton screen, and put Lively on Siakam. They decided to keep Lively on Turner, and they just continually pick and pop the Mavericks to death because for as great as Lively has played, he's a 20-year-old rookie center that has never guarded stretch bigs in his entire life. He did not guard anyone in Duke that was like Miles Turner. They just don't exist in college basketball like they do in the NBA, which is fine. It's not a big deal that he's not able to get out to stretch bigs. So what your coaching staff has to do is help and put your players in the best positions to succeed. The players were not in the best position to succeed. They literally did the same thing that they did in the first game where they lost, and you cannot expect to do the same thing and just hope he misses shots because Miles Turner's pretty good. He's pretty good.
There's a reason that Mavericks fans have sort of lusted after him. I mean, I've never been one who's been particularly high on him, not because of his skill, more because I think his knees are made of like they actually contain a cheese grater within his kneecap, like shredding his ligaments because he's played so much youth basketball. But
yeah, I mean, you're down in the first half. The Pacers scored 74 points in the first half. Halliburton had 4 points. He had 4 points in the first half, and you're down 74 to 70. Like, what are you going to do when Halliburton wakes up, which he did in the third, and you lose? And funny enough, they start the second half. Kirk, I swear to God, I think he read the tweet because they opened the second half. First defensive possession of the third quarter, PJ Washington is on Miles Turner. And I'm not saying we know because we don't, but we know that Jason Kidd is online, and I almost feel like he read my tweet and then decided to do it. I'm probably giving myself too much credit, but I swear to God, swear to God,
I love this take.
I swear to God, he read it. And then, of course, it didn't work. I mean, it worked in the sense that Turner didn't score, which, of course, he didn't. You're switching and doing that. But then they didn't guard anywhere else. Their rotations are a mess. They're over-helping, especially from the corners. They're in the bottom third of the league in corner threes allowed in terms of share of shots. They help way too much. They're way too aggressive with their help defense, which is what got Kidd in trouble in Milwaukee, where that defense got blitzed like crazy after his first season in Milwaukee. They can't stay in front of their man. And that happened, your two best players aren't great defenders. That makes things harder. You have to overcompensate and help for that. It was just a mess. So, yeah, they did the right thing tactically in the second half to start it, and they put Washington on Turner. Then Siakam kind of went to work. Halliburton went to work in the pick and roll. They just had nothing. They had absolutely nothing defensively in this game.
Okay, and so we saw the end result. The Mavericks lost by a cajillion points, giving up 137. Remarkably impressive. That's real bad. Okay, so we're about the halfway point in the show, and there are, for some reason, 770 people watching this on Twitter. Don't know how that happens. Welcome to the show, folks, on Twitter. We are doing this show live on YouTube. If there is any way for you to promote and like the video stream, I would very much appreciate it. Those of you who are here on the YouTube stream, go ahead and head down, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button while you're there. Josh and I tend to do one of these after almost every single episode. I tend to also do a secondary live show, which I wasn't going to do tonight, but there's so many people in here, I think I might have to. And if you're unfamiliar with that show, it is a live show where you can come up on stage here and talk to me if you have questions, if you have thoughts, if you have takes you want to get out. It is a show for ranting and a show for kind of processing frustration or joy following a different Mavs win or loss. Those of you listening on audio stream, if you could please leave a review and subscribe, I would very much appreciate it. We'll take a brief break here for our audio ad insertion and then be right back. All right. So where do we start with the problems? We had my one friend Mick in the comments earlier trolling me, basically, saying, why can't Jason Kidd make that layup for Kyrie? And I don't think I'm not.
Oh, give me a break.
No. I'm not thinking I don't know what there's stuff Kidd could do, but I'm past the point in the season where I'm just like, what could Kidd do? What does firing Kidd do?
Oh no, it's too late to fire him now.
Yeah, that's what I really mean.
What are you gonna? Yeah, I agree with that, and I do agree. That's why I said this is bigger than just moving some bench players around. It's coaching, and it's from the top down, which starts with your head coach, and it starts with your two best players. Luka and Kyrie in the third quarter, when the team needed it, and you coming out of halftime, and this feels like a must-win game. And by the way, the Pelicans won today, and I believe the Suns they have a 13-point lead in the third quarter against the Nuggets. They are going to be well entrenched. They're going to lose more ground on getting out of the play-in if the Suns result holds. So they needed this game. Obviously, they need every game. No, there's no more whatever. Every game matters with the standings right now. And they come out in the third quarter. Kyrie 1 of 4 points. Luka 2 of 9, 6 points, 0 of 4 shooting from 3. Settled for some of the laziest step back. Yeah. Some of the laziest step back jumpers he's ever shot happened in that third quarter. Just not good. And, blame the Mavericks for having to ride Luka and Kyrie into the ground, and they were going to get tired. Luka played 12 minutes in the third quarter. What did he play for the game? I think he played over 40. Yeah, he played 43 minutes. Kyrie played 36. That might be part of it. But again, your best players, if you're going to run an offense where it's Luka and Kyrie have to do everything, sorry, they're going to have to do everything.
Well, I mean, the thing was, I watched a lot of open, easy looks go clang.
Did you see Luka's missed wide open layup in transition?
Yeah.
That wasn't good. They're at a point where not even the easy things are everything's not falling their way, which tends to happen when you're not playing well, right? There's kind of that thought process that you create your own luck, right? With energy and attentiveness to detail. That's certainly not happening.
Fan-fucking-tastic. Listen to this. Gafford, and this is from Dallas Morning News, Brad Townsend. Gafford said several veteran players, particularly Markieff Morris, spoke up in the locker room after the game. The game has been over for 30 minutes, and we've yet to hear from Kidd. Look, if the non-guaranteed guy, that was Markieff Morris up until a few weeks ago, is the one doing the talking, you have a systemic problem with the team.
Yes. Yeah. Why isn't that Luka? Why isn't that Luka getting? I mean, maybe he did. We don't know. But
sure.
Yeah. But that should be Luka, right?
It should be somebody. It should be Kyrie.
Somebody that actually plays.
A leadership position player, one of the 2 to 3 best guys, not the guy who is essentially on the bench to. I don't know why Morris is on the team. He's bad.
And to be fair, that wasn't always when Dirk didn't always do that either, but sure. He had Tyson or even Jason Terry, who were guys that play.
Is JJ Barea stuck in a locker somewhere? Can he pop out and give some leadership thoughts?
Kirk, I'm kind of on a tangent here, and this isn't related to what we're talking about, but we're talking about trying to diagnose what's going on. And we're talking about coaching. So Ben Shepherd has scored his most points, I'm pretty sure.
Who in these 2 games. Hell is Ben Shepherd?
He's an NBA Create 2K
That is not a real person.
Okay. On the season, he has attempted 122 shots. 83 of them are threes. 39 of them are twos. So he does not shoot 2-pointers. On the season, he has taken, well, now it's updated. He's taken 129 shots now because he took 7 tonight. He's taken 44 of his 129 shots have been corner threes, and then another 45 are above the break threes. Why is Ben Shepherd shooting 4 of 6 from 3 in this game? How many corner threes did he have in the second half? I think he had like 3.
Honestly,
Like, why are you helping off him? That's literally the one thing he does. And again, that's the attention to detail. That's the coaching, the over aggressive helping. Like, I don't know how you can have a successful defense in 2024 in the NBA.
who was doing the helping?
Helping off corners. I don't know. I have to rewatch. But I mean, it's whoever's in the corner. I don't think it's a specific player.
Which Mavericks players are most guilty of hilarious overhelp?
I don't know. I feel like all of them can.
Okay.
I mean, PJ Washington overhelped the Tobias Harris 3 in the Philly loss on Sunday when Luka wasn't even beat. He just ran to Kelly Oubre while Luka had him guarded up pretty well. You give up a wide open dagger 3 to Tobias Harris. So I don't know. I mean, I think it could be everyone. We can watch the tape later, and I'm sure it might be Kyrie or Luka.
I like how
Josh Green,
our chat is pretty fantastic. They know what my trigger points are, where a bunch of people just type Josh Green.
Oh, you want to get to Josh Green?
Well,
I don't know where to go from
You're
here.
cooking.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying, like, literally the only thing Ben Shepherd can do is shoot threes. Literally the best thing he's good at is shooting threes, and particularly shooting corner threes. He's 52% on right corner. He's 38 from left corner. Pretty good. Corner threes, easiest, most productive shot in basketball outside of a layup or a dunk.
Unless you're a Maverick.
Unless you're a Maverick. Why? Like, why are you helping off the corner? I just don't. And these are like, the thing that's crazy is these aren't helping from the weak side corner and forcing the Pacers to make a really difficult skip pass. These are strong side helps where the ball, like on the same side the ball is, they're helping off the corner. Mm-hmm. Like, that's just, you're giving up one pass corner threes. Like, that's bad. And players need to be better. I think the thing is, the best players need to be better, but the coach needs to be better. And at this point, though, you're 34-28. You don't practice. Like, no team practices. You had all your practices, by the way, during the All-Star break, and they've been worse since the All-Star break.
That's really hard to do.
What were they practicing during the All-Star break?
Just from a logistics standpoint, you go into the All-Star break riding quite a win streak and some of the best defense in the league. Yes. You come out of the All-Star break rested, with more time to look at tape, with more time to go over schematic stuff, and you are not only worse, you are the worst. Because they're currently, over this stretch, they are the worst basketball defense. I mean, that's the only kind of defense they could be. The worst defense in the NBA.
You just did what NFL people did, the National Football Players.
The National Basketball Association.
Yeah, I don't know. And of course, some of this is schedule. They did not play. They played one good offense in that win streak going into the All-Star break. Phoenix was a good offense, but that was after the All-Star break. So some of it was schedule. Like, they played a pretty good schedule. They're playing much better teams out of the All-Star break than they did going into it, but still, like, to go from best in that 6 games to the worst since is just.
I owe it to correct the record because I rudely made some assumptions. Brad Townsend notes that Irving and Kidd also spoke to the team.
There you go. Okay, good.
I walk back one piece of misinformation. The rest still stands.
There you go.
I don't even know. So where do we go from here? Because I'm not mad. I'm disappointed and bored. Because the solutions, and this kind of gets in, we talk about the coaching. The one reason I brought up the coaching the last game, to the chagrin of a few people who still are like, guys, it's really not Kidd's fault. Let's assume you're right. But Kidd is one of the few things you can actually change. You're paying Kyrie Irving 2 more years, $40 million a season. You want Luka. You just sent out assets for Gafford and Washington. This is who you've brought to the dance. Therefore, that's who you're dancing with. The coach is the one piece that's actually changeable in all this.
That's true. But now they've waited so long. I mean, are you really going to institute a new coach with how many games are left? Like 19
Well,
games?
I mean, with how bad they're playing, like,
might.
why not go to a no coach option and just vibes? Like
And
sheer vibes the rest of the year. We'll let
you could
let
argue
Kyrie
that's what they're
be a player coach.
You could argue that's what they're already doing.
Sure. Yeah, let's let Kyrie be player coach. I'm kind of not kidding.
I know.
Because it seems like, you know, they do this collaborative group thing, and at least at that point I don't have to see the man with his hands in his pockets and hear any post-game stuff, which granted, I had one Mavs official tell me over the weekend, like, you see why, because Kid gave a press conference where he kind of defended Kid or Tim Hardaway, but he defended Tim Hardaway to the point of being like silly. Like it wasn't, it's pure coach speak paper nonsense. Like nothing real was said. And somebody from the Mavericks texted me, like, you see why I don't think press conferences and the coach speaking is worth a damn, because Kid's going to get killed either way.
I kind of agree with that.
I do. That's a fair take, but I'm just like, I am a old man now, nearly old. Leadership and the attempts at leadership matter more to me as I go on in my existence, you know, in my day job, in the things that I have to do day to day, where someone taking responsibility and taking ownership matters a great deal to me. That's just my bias. A lot of people have told me I'm flat out fucking wrong in this opinion because there's too many games. It's a collaborative effort from the NBA, and it's just like, or on the NBA level. So maybe I'm overstating the coach's balance. And the same person said to me, you know, Rick Carlisle went out and took bullets for the Mavericks every night, and they fucking hated him, which is very true.
Yes, it is. It very much is. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is to that. But yeah, I understand. I feel you. It's frustrating. I mean, that's the fan part though. You still got to have some of that. Like, you know, I might not have the fan part in me, but like everyone listening, like if it doesn't make you emotional within a healthy manner, you know, let's not get crazy. But like, that's the whole point, right? Like if we're watching this like robots, then what, you know, why even do it? Like it's supposed to be frustrating and make you go nuts, because then the good part is like the opposite end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of, you know, I don't want to tell you, that's your, you know, I follow your lead with that. Like just trying not to tell people how to fan.
You're right. No, you're right. I do that sometimes, even though I also tried to, yeah, it's brutal.
I know. Something about the defense. I'm looking at it here. And how many good defenders do the Mavericks play? Like, let's say
is looks like a defender with what they make him do, but I don't think he's actually a very good defender. I think.
Who'd you say?
PJ Washington. Okay. Rangy and long and has the tools to be a good defender. I don't actually think he's a good defender.
I think he's been doing okay in spots, but I don't think he's been helped out with what's going on around him.
I mean, Lively has taken such a rookie wall step at the moment that I'm not sure what to do with him.
Right.
Maxey is
he had
he's French toast, games, German toast. Yeah.
He had a good February and then it's fallen back. And you got Luka and Kyrie, which we don't need to go. I mean, maybe we do because they're the pillars of the team. And I would say, if you're being optimistic, those two net out to average defensively, and that's being as optimistic as possible.
Yep.
And you got Josh Green, who, for the love of God, like, I will give people some slack on the offensive production, because it's very clear on the offensive side of the ball for him that he is very much needs touches, needs motion, needs activity player. Like, it's very clear that he is not good playing off of ball dominant players. Like, if you don't like Josh Green because of that, because like you got to fit in with Luka, I understand. If you're mad at how the Mavericks play because you feel like they don't utilize them more, I understand. If you feel like it's bizarre to argue about utilizing a player of Green's caliber in the totem pole, also understand. I just don't want to argue about his offense right now. But he was drafted to be an above average defender. Like, that's why he was drafted 18th. That's what he was pegged as coming out of college. His offense was actually like a bonus. Even the most optimistic of projections were like, he'll be like a 3-and-D guy, but he's going to make his money on the defensive end of the floor. We're now 4 seasons into the Josh Green experience, and I'm just not like, where is the defensive impact? Just where is it? I see him getting slammed into screens like nobody's business and just dying on a vine. And that's a problem when you are a guard, because guards get screened a lot. Like, he is not a big forward that can guard the Kevin Durant's of the world in one-on-one situations. He is going to be guarding ball handlers a lot of the time because of his size and his speed and his athleticism. He cannot get wiped out on screens as easily as he does. And it just, it's a cascade effect, because he's wiped out and now your defense is guarding 4-on-5 basically, right? So that I wouldn't qualify him as an above average defender right now. I don't think you can. How could you? And then you said Maxey, which we've talked about, where he has moments, and then he just, he only can do so much with his body and his minutes total. Tim Hardaway Jr., no. Derek Jones Jr., sure. White Powell doesn't play. Daniel Gafford, he gets blocks, which he makes some defensive plays, but he also gets cooked in the pick and roll. So that's kind of a net. I'll give you maybe a net average there. Exum seems to be good, but he just, he's not playing a lot right now.
Why isn't he playing?
I don't know. They need to, I think, hit the ripcord on the lineup and put.
He said he was a starter, and then he got knee bursitis, and that it just went away. And I'm just
because Green was playing well, but Green has now stopped playing well. So, but I'm just saying, like, there's. Not only are we struggling to find people that you would think would qualify for one of the two all defensive teams, or not, sorry, I'm phrasing that bad. Not only are we struggling to find someone that you would consider like a defensive player of the year candidate, which not every team has.
Sure.
But we're struggling to find guys that would make an all defensive team. Like, if you want to be a top 4 team in either conference, you got to have at least like 1 or 2 of those guys, right? Like, I'm just struggling, like, scheme or not, I'm just struggling to see, and this is where, the kid defenders might have a point, is just they might be able to scheme up something that's a little bit better than what they're doing now, but what's the ceiling? Like, even if you had a coaching staff and a game plan in place that really maximized every single player on this roster, is that better than 15th or 13th in defense? And is that good enough for a team with Luka? Like, I'm just struggling to see what scheme can turn bad defender. Like, there's things you can do to hide, and especially against bad teams, but good teams are too good, man.
Yeah, they are.
It's just tough. They need a defensive anchor and stud, which maybe Lively will be, but he's 20 years old and he's a rookie.
So here's part of this. So first of all, shout out to McGurble Jr. For giving us a $4 tip. Don't even know how you tip. Appreciate guys that do this sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's very Josh and I make nothing off of this. We do this mainly because we like talking to you people. The one thing that I do think has to be of note, and the front office and head coach are simpatico.
Yeah, they came in together. They literally.
If you don't believe that,
you're denying reality.
We can't. We just can't really have a conversation. The JaVale McGee signing was a specific Jason Kidd thing. A specific, now Christian Wood, not a Jason Kidd thing. That was done over his head. Like, that much was made clear as the season went along.
Yeah, he wanted nothing to do with it.
But it was the front office's attempt to get rid of 4 bad contracts at once, while also bringing on Christian Wood. I have to think there's a strong possibility. Like, I just can't believe that Kidd would have no say in the bringing in of PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford, right? At this point in the year. What do you think?
I think he has to have some input, right?
Yeah, I think he has to have some input.
Some, I don't know how much, but some has to have some.
Yeah. So some input. And so it's like, I've mentioned this before. It's worth bringing up again. Kidd very much wanted Tony Snell in Milwaukee. Tony Snell was out of the rotation after 10 games, just like JaVale McGee was out of the rotation after 10 games. If the Mavericks made a hard push for Gafford, I don't understand why they would do some of this if they didn't have a plan and a reason. Because it's like, how many minutes did Gafford play?
He played 21.
Okay, at least he played a little more tonight.
No, he played, and I mean, he put up numbers, but I mean, he gave up. I mean, the Pacers were still scoring for the most part.
So they keep going back to the same, like, the solutions for the Mavericks are, let's go play small ball 5 with Maxey at 5 and, you know, Luka and 3 guards. And it just, like, it hasn't worked. It hasn't worked in any of these games. I mean, they beat who's the one team they beat? I can't.
Toronto.
They
who's
beat
bad.
Toronto.
Who's trying to lose as many games as possible to keep their draft pick, by the way.
So yeah, now they are. But I mean, they were on a 3-game win streak at that point, so it feels a little disingenuous that they were tanking. But it's like they're not a great team.
Yeah, they're not good.
So I'm just like, I don't know what the solutions are. But again, like, this is where I find it so funny that people get mad at me, where I'm just like, the solution.
You did this.
The solutions are the people that are running the team. They need to figure it out. And when they come out and don't really have any ideas, and they're
reactive. They're very reactive.
Sure.
Sometimes that makes it feel like, what's the plan in place when they're this reactive? And the Washington move, if that feels considered. Although I don't know how much of it is.
Reporting, there's a ton of reporting that essentially says they had offered 2 picks to go get Kuzma, and Kuzma quite literally said he didn't want to go, which is why that trade fell through. Like, that is a reported upon thing where Kuzma went on the record. This is not hearsay. This is on the record stuff. And then the next part that's a little bit curious is that means the Mavericks then pivoted and went to Gafford.
Pivoted and went to Washington, and maybe Gafford was part of the Kuzma talks, and they just were like, all right, let's still do this, I guess.
But it's CM33 says Kuzma knows ball. Thanks.
Still chasing that Kevon Looney ghost of 2022.
No.
God. Do you want me to talk about how much time? How much? If you want to do a live show, I don't want to keep it too long.
Go ahead. Let's just do it. And we'll see if I even have, Well,
let's talk about the offense and what's going on. Because, like it or not, I mean, the defense is terrible, but they scored 18 points in the third quarter, and that's the quarter that ended the game. So, not to say that don't let the defense off the hook, but if they played a clean offensive game for 4 quarters, I mean, it would have at least been close. We are now how many games since the All-Star break, basically? Like, look at the Mavericks box scores and look how many guys are in double figures. Look at every non-Luka Kyrie player. I mean, there's a lot of 0s, 5s, 6s. I mean, Derek Lively, 16 minutes, 0 points. Josh Green, 26 minutes, 6 points. Kleba, 15 minutes, 0 points. DeMar DeRozan, 13 minutes, 6 points. Derek Jones Jr., 12 minutes, 2 points. Dante Exum, 16 minutes, 4 points. And then Kyrie and Luka combined to shoot almost 50 shots, 49 shots. 49 of the 93 shots. They had 20, Kyrie had 23, Luka had 39. This is a trend. And what teams are doing, and the Pacers kind of kicked it off, actually, the first matchup, is they're done blitzing Luka. Luka was the most blitzed player in the pick and roll. And for people, I'm sorry to use kind of NBA lingo, but blitzing is whenever Luka runs a pick and roll, the defense puts 2 defenders on Luka with a trap or however you want to call it, instead of switching with the roll man or what have you. So they put 2 on the ball when Luka gets a screen in the pick and roll, and they trap Luka, and you're basically saying, we don't trust any of these other guys to do anything with the ball in the open space. We would rather not let Luka beat us with scoring. So now what teams are doing is we're not going to let Luka beat us with his passing. They are switching ball screens. They are hedging and recovering. The big man in the pick and roll guarding Luka is playing at the level of the screen. So not drop, but playing up to where the screener is, kind of walling Luka off a little bit, allowing the ball handler defender to get around the screen and get back to Luka. So it's not a straight up switch all the time. Some of them are straight up switches. Jalen Smith switched onto Luka multiple times. And basically teams are like, okay, because Luka kills blitzes. Like, they've been absolutely killing blitzes. So I think what happened was Luka's teammates earned enough of the league's respect to be like, okay, these guys have proven that they can make wide open shots. They've proven that with so much space given to them, that they can drive to the basket, especially with the addition of Kyrie last season. You add PJ Washington, Josh Green has gotten better. Like, you know, the Dorians and the Reggie Bullocks and some of the standstill spot up guys have kind of shifted out for more guys that can do a little bit more, just a little
Right.
bit. So now teams are like, okay, well, we don't think that they can beat us in one-on-one. So we're going to take away that space. We're going to take away the role players' wide open shots. We're going to let Luka score as much as he wants, but we feel confident in our defense on the role players in one-on-one situations that they're not going to burn us and that Luka and Kyrie cannot outscore our entire team, which is basically what teams are daring the Mavericks to do. Luka did have 11 assists, which is actually a good amount for him considering how they were guarding him. But the team had 23 assists. They've been under 25 assists, I think, every game except the Toronto game since the All-Star break. They average about 25 a game, and that's the lower third of the league. Like, there's just nothing. Like, it's Luka running a screen. The defender, they either switch it right away or, you know, they do play the level of the screen and hedge and then let the ball handler defender recover. And that's it. Like, there's nothing else. Like, guys are standing and watching, and Luka and Kyrie are taking threes. Luka took 13 threes. He was 4 of 13. He made a bunch in, like, the first quarter, first half, and he clearly kind of fell in love with it. But, like, this is what happens when, like, me and you have been talking about this forever. Like, what is their offensive system or philosophy? Like, it's literally just let Luka and Kyrie do whatever. And that works when teams are giving you a double team because that's inviting movement and motion because guys are open and you play off that player that's open and you create an advantage. Where's the advantage being created now? Like, Luka is scoring, but
even
there's
when
just nothing
Luka,
going on.
Right, because even when Luka doesn't have the ball, it's weird. Like,
Yes.
there was one play, and I want to say it was third quarter when things were starting to get out of hand, where Luka dove. He cut from the right wing and got fed in the middle of the key. Like, it was one of those things where Luka doesn't cut ever, so teams don't know what to do. and then all of a sudden he had 3 guys around him because there's just that's how reactive defenses are. He wasn't able to get a shot off. He kicks it to the corner. I want to say it was a Josh Green for 3, but there's no. Like, I've seen, like, Bobby Corrala of Mavs.com, he has up on their YouTube page a kind of explainer of what is getting mucked up in the offense and where. And the optionality for a lot of this stuff is pretty, with what the Mavericks run, is frankly pretty limited. Like,
where's off-ball movement? Where's guys coming off of screens? Where's screen the screener action? Like, where is anything? It's literally just Luka, Kyrie, high screen and roll and hope that works. Like, there's nothing moving in the back end. And then on the other hand, like, if you want to run just Luka, Kyrie, spam that high pick and roll, like, do something before those guys catch the ball. Like, those guys are not, like, have Luka come off a pin down or dribble handoff. Something. So even if, like, get the defense moving around so that when Luka does run the screen and roll that he wants to, maybe you catch the defense off guard or off balance and you can start slipping screens and doing some of that. Like, it is just, there is nothing going on right now. Mm-hmm. And it's pretty clear that this team just relies so much on teams doubling Luka that they don't have a counter. And I'm kind of worried, like, does the coaching staff have a counter? Does the team want to counter? Like, at a certain point, you kind of are who you are. Like, you're not going to, like, this is who the Mavericks are. Are they going to change their entire, like, are they just going to bust out a bunch of plays we haven't been seeing for 70% of the season or whatever it is? All of a sudden, like, you want to say, okay, change this, but it's like, with what? Like, what if they don't have anything to change it to? Like, it's just bizarre. It's absolutely bizarre. And again, you know, the defense is the main culprit, but I mean, we are seeing these games where they can't win games like this if teams are going to keep guarding like that. Look at Kyrie, one of the best passers in the game. His assist totals since All-Star break. So starting with the Phoenix game, 3, 2, 3, 3, 2, 4, 3.
And like, he's not getting the ball. Like,
he's not getting yet. Go
in
ahead,
his defense, like, he's not getting the ball in a position to play make. He is getting the ball in a position to ISO. And that's what, like, there's no screens coming his way. There's no off-ball movement. It's ball reversal back out to Kyrie. Oh, you're coming in from the left wing. Make something happen.
Like, he's such a good movement shooter. Run him off some baseline screens. Run him off some
It's a
pin
good idea
downs.
in theory, but we now have 5 losses in 6 games that indicate that it actually fucking sucks. So let's do something new. Again, no game with no Kyrie Luka pick and rolls that I saw. Like almost none of these things that I've seen work in small bursts because they were really trying to do weird shit like, let's get Tim Hardaway some shots. I'm sorry. I feel like a lunatic. Some of these things are so bad. They're so it comes back to save us, Luka, save us. And I am as critical as the next guy when Luka is doing too much. But I feel like now there is no other solution other than Luka doing too much.
Yeah.
I need to shout out some people real quick because we have folks mad enough in here. We have shout out to my man Sully, who would like us to fire Kid. Shout out to Donnie Trowell, who wants us to note that THJ fell off super bad after his dad's comment about Luka. It's actually a really good point. And then we have Glenn Simpson, who also left us a tip saying, we saw how good this team could be before the league got the tape on us. If this is an indictment on kids' non-ability to do the same, then what is? That's where it comes back to more collaborative things. If you have a superstar, if you have a super duper star, I do think there's elements of this where it's like Luka also has to be part of the solution. And if, he's getting 40-point triple doubles, but they're losing, then maybe they all need to go to the drawing board together.
Absolutely. Your best player has to be held accountable when your team is.
That's not a shot at Luka. It's just saying be part of the, contribute to a solution because there's too much tape on this right now. We see it.
And this is the second season in a row where you've got presumably one of the best players in the NBA and you're hanging around the play-in. And by the way, these are the same conversations they have about the Lakers and the Warriors. Like, it's like, what's going on? Like, you've got LeBron, you've got Steph. Like, you got to be better. Like, and coaching is a big part of it. They just team identity. Like, I don't know what the identity of this team is. Like, there's no counter. Like, you watch the Pacers, and I know I'm not trying to say Rick Carlisle should still be the coach because it's very clear
he lost the team.
He lost the team, but it's just you just see how they do stuff, and you watch these other good, like you watch the Cleveland Cavaliers, who like instantly in the fourth quarter were like, oh, you're gonna guard Donovan Mitchell and Max Strus with THJ and Luka. Let's go. Let's run this in the fourth quarter. Let's get back in the game. Let's just spam this until they stop it, and they never stopped. Like, just not seeing that unless it's just Luka deciding to go Super Saiyan mode or Kyrie goes Super Saiyan mode. Like, it's just, I don't know. It feels like a wing and a prayer sometimes when they're trying to like adjust when they're in the muck. Like, it doesn't feel sustainable, and I think that's why you're in the play-in 2 years in a row, despite having a guy that's going to make all first team All NBA 5 out of his first 6 years.
Yeah, it's really something. Okay, we're at 50 minutes. I'm going to go to our live show here in a minute. Josh, thank you so much for hanging out this long. Yep. You're always the best. Everybody go give Josh a follow on Twitter. Absolutely do not do that.
Leave me alone.
I'm gonna for the audio stream, we'll post the secondary show tomorrow. But for those of you who are hanging out on the stream, give me just a second. I'm gonna throw up our video real quick, and then we'll be back. And then I want to hear some of your comments. We'll fly through as many people as possible, and then go on with the rest of our week. Thanks so much for hanging out with Pod Maverick and the Dune 2 podcast. Go Mavs. Well, welcome to the continuation of the Dune 2 review series. This is Kirk Henderson of Pod Maverick. We are talking about The Dallas Mavericks and whatever game that was. This is Group Therapy Live. Those of you who are new to the show, we have a unbelievable amount of people watching on Twitter. Does not seem real. Shout out to my Russian bot friends. If you would like to join the show on YouTube, remember there is the ability to click the pinned link in the YouTube chat. Anyone that is on Twitter that would like to join the show, shoot me a direct message and I will send you the link specifically. And then you come up here. It's pretty easy. It's just like joining the Zoom chat. We can get multiple people up here. Right now, we already got 3 people waiting. We're going to fly through people with takes, and we'll hang out for as long as people want to talk because folks seem fired up. And that's just going to be the way the night goes. All right, coming up first is my man, Brian. What's up, Brian?
Man, more of the same. You know how it is.
I do. I worked myself into a lather. So like I was kind of bored at the start, and now I'm just I'm not totally in on the Fire Kid stuff. Where are you?
I'll tell you where I am. They
Sure.
have 5 days, because that is when my Bally Sports Plus renews. They have 5 days to fire that man. I'm canceling. I'm not watching another game of this team. I have better things to do.
Take. Oh man, we're gonna lose Bally Sports subscribers. I love it.
Got 5 days to fire him, else I'm out, man. I'll go watch real basketball, brother. There are 29 other teams.
Sure.
They my God, man. Kid is a disaster. And he can be fired. Can't be replaced like immediately, rather easily, but they can find a replacement. I don't care about that.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, Tim was a disaster. Only played 13 minutes. So I stopped. If you'll notice, I stopped on Twitter with the why is he why does he love Tim so much? Why is he playing Tim so much? Played him 14 minutes in the last game.
Yeah.
So after that,
we're kind of in a good spot with Tim.
Stop playing it. Derek Lively, still not 28.
Looking rookie-ish. Looking rookie-ish. I made fun of Maxey in the first show for being a non-contributing zero. Shout out to Derek Lively for his single rebound. That's all he did.
That's not good, but I will say, man, in the first half, he looked better guarding Tyrese Halliburton out on the perimeter than Josh did.
Well, that's true, but that's because Josh is Josh playing defense is just he looks like a kid who picked up 2K for the first time and is like messing with the controls. He just doesn't know what to do.
And that's where like we get to like my actual if there needs to be like a take for this right now.
Sure.
Kid, Josh Green, Tim Hardaway, Maxey, Kyrie, Yartel. Hard reset this time. This iteration of the team, it's the Luka thing was a fun run, but so they got back cut on and ran into so many dribble handoffs, and both of them look completely bewildered every single time.
It just hurts, man. It's like this is NBA basketball. What did you think is happening?
No idea what to do. It's how we lost the Cleveland game. Tim was more involved in that, much more involved, but it was still like them running DHOs with Luka's man and them knowing Luka didn't have like a chance in hell to catch Strus running full speed to the corner.
That's right.
And Rick just like spammed that all game long.
Mm-hmm.
And it worked. Just easy backdoor cuts, easy 45 cuts from the top of the arc to the lane with Tyrese driving from like the wing or something.
Yeah.
And it was just they couldn't do anything. Lively was out of position because he was guarding Miles Turner from 18, 20, 24 feet out, right? That's where the lack of boards came from. And when he's out there, we don't have any rim protection. And then he's also like not pressed up enough, which I don't know whose fault that is. Like, this is the dude that just burned us last game from 18 to 20 feet because you was standing 2 to 3 feet away from it.
Random point. I don't mean to interject your thought, but tonight we're big time Denver Nuggets fans as they have stormed all the way the hell back and are currently leading the Phoenix Suns by 1 point with 90 seconds to go.
God, the Suns did it again.
So
they fucking suck in the fourth. Oh my
yeah,
goodness.
like the simple fact is the group of teams from like 6 to 10 are a bunch of garbo. Like it's just real bad. It's real bad. Anyway, sorry, didn't mean to interrupt. What else you got?
No, you're good. Yeah, man. I'm I'm not even angry anymore. I'm just tired. I'm tired. I've been staying up. I've been watching these games. I could be getting sleep. I could be getting work done. I could be watching better basketball teams like
Right.
Oklahoma City, Denver, uh, Indiana, like more fun
I have
games.
video games I put down for the season. I could be doing something different. Well, man, thank you so much for joining us. All right.
Of course, brother. Thanks for having me.
All right. So we have a lot of people waiting. Good gracious. We're going to fly through people. So just be kind of cognizant of your thoughts while we're up here. We're going to get to as many people as possible. Once again, if you're listening on Twitter, please shoot me a link. I'm going to go in order of the people who have joined. We have just some of my favorite people looking down here. I see my man Glenn. I see Xavier. We see Tyron. We see Sam. This is excellent. We're gonna have a great show. So the Mavs might suck, but you guys are great. X, what's going on tonight?
I'm livid, Kurt. I'm
You-
absolutely livid.
Are you in the 90s? What's going on with the color palette tonight, friendo?
My softball uniform.
Ah,
Saved by the balls.
that's
You know,
fantastic.
it's softball. You know.
So what do you got for us tonight?
I want to deliver some hard truths to Maverick fans. You know, Maverick fans and I sometimes we butt heads a lot. And look, I get it. I'm a brash New York guy. I know I rub people the wrong way sometimes. But look, there's some things that when I look in the comments on Mavs Moneyball or when I go on Twitter, I hear these things being repeated and it's just not true, right? So Kyrie and Luka fit well together. No, they don't. They're just world-class tough shot makers. But our plan A, plan B, and plan C is, hey, go make some tough shots. Kid does nothing to get either one of them an easy bucket. They're just able to hit shots that other players in the world can't. And when they hit those shots, we win. And when they don't, we look like complete dog shit. But they don't fit well together, right? To your point, we should be seeing Luka, Kyrie pick and rolls so that if the defense goes under, Kyrie has a wide open three at the top of the key. Or maybe you have Luka going 4-on-3. He's the best passer in the world outside of Jokic.
Could you imagine him in a short roll situation? Have we seen that once in my existence? No.
Draymond Green has made a Hall of Fame career off of that short roll, right? We don't do any of that, right? To Josh Green, right? I remember I posted that I would have traded Josh Green in the first for PJ Washington, and I was called a contrarian, all types of nasty words.
Because he did look good. He did look good, but he's just so limited.
Kirk, he had 3 games in a 10-game stretch where he scored 20 points. He didn't score 20 points before that 10-game stretch. He's yet to score 20 points since that 10-day stretch. So fans, they're like goldfish, right? They live in the moment. Oh my God, Josh Green had an excellent 10 days.
That's certainly how I am. I would rather enjoy this, and I would expect that there to be some building on what they do, and unfortunately, it seems to be.
But secretly, you agree with me. I'm in slack with you. You hate Josh Green as much as I do.
Yeah,
but
it might be.
I know publicly
my
you can't admit to it, but our hatred for Josh Green, other than our nerddom, is why we bond. Josh Green stinks. He doesn't play good defense.
Good old Easter Island
more than 2 3-pointers a handful of times this entire season. But because he shoots 40%, we say, oh my God, Josh Green is an amazing shooter. My ass, not all 40% 3-point shooters are created equal, right? And so, but you look at the stat sheet, 40%, Josh Green's good. No, he's not. He doesn't play defense. And that's the thing. So when you have lineups with Kyrie, Luka, and Josh Green out there, that's 3 negative defenders. I was wrong on Lively, and I will apologize publicly. I thought they shouldn't have drafted him. He was a great pick, but he's a rookie, right? And so who do you have at the 4 that can make up for the fact that we have at any given point in time 3 negative defenders? Maxey, for the love of God, he has a metal plate in his shoe to keep his pinky from dislocating randomly. And we're expecting him to be the anchor of a small ball 5-out lineup.
Not fair to him.
His body has abandoned him. He can't move vertically. And why did those small ball lineups work? Because theoretically, you could switch 1 through 5. That would disrupt a lot of the
Like Maxey would hit a shot.
And then we would rotate, right? We would rotate like madman, and that's what we was built upon. But here's the thing. Maxi's getting blown by with ease, right? Three of our players are getting blown by with ease. So at that point, whether you play man or whether you switch everything, it's too easy. Now, most teams choose with either like the Pelicans. They say, look, we're going to build a fence around the paint. We're going to give you all the 3-pointers you want, and we're just going to pray that you miss shots, right? And on certain nights, that's good, right? The variance, it works in their favor, and they're able to win games that way. Other teams are like, look, we're not going to give you any corner threes, and we're going to trust that our threes are going to beat you with your twos.
Sure.
We don't stop either one. We give up corner threes and we give up layup lines. So at that point, what is our defensive principle? Like when we go out there and we roll the ball out, what are we trying to accomplish? I don't know, right? And so that's why the guy, and I'm glad that you cursed him out in the chat because he was over here defending J Kidd. If you're a J Kidd defender, tell me 2 things that he does that are positive. You can't point to anything. So at this point, we say it's too late to fire a kid. What do we lose by firing him? Are we all of a sudden having to install a new scheme, or are we just installing the scheme, period? Because right now we have no offensive identity other than go play hero ball and bail us out. And on defense, it's like, yo, we hope that our rookie center is athletic enough to maybe swat some shit by the rim. But other than that, we don't really know what we're doing. We're not steering ball dribblers in any direction. We don't know what the hell we're doing. So end rant, because I know there's a lot of people here, but I was saying these things early in the season when our record was better, and I was told, X, shut up. We're 18-5. Shut up.
No. I mean, they got off to a great start. They got off to an 8-2 start and have played below 500 basketball since.
We beat up on the bottom feeders of the league,
which is fine. Right? You're supposed to do that. They seem to win a meaningful game.
And that's going to get you exactly to where you are. But the problem is there's a large gap between the haves and have-nots. And there's a lot more have-nots in the league right now when you consider the East. And so, yes, you can inflate your record against those bottom feeder teams, but don't trick yourself into thinking that we've built anything that's sustainable for the long term. And my final point before I leave, yes, Kidd is a problem, and Cuban's years of decision-making, yes. Kyrie is the fundamental issue. You cannot field a league average defense if Luka is your second worst defender on the team. And I tend to get frustrated when Luka doesn't give a shit on defense, but look at his usage rate. We cannot ask him to be an average defender and go out there and create everything on offense. It's just not going to happen. So we have to accept that Luka's not going to be a good defender, but you cannot put Kyrie Irving next to him.
Yeah.
And it just gives defenses too many ways to attack us. And even a Nick Nurse or Eric Spoelstra, even they can't solve those problems because Kyrie is the fundamental issue. And until he's gone, look, that's just what it is.
Hard take.
That's what I have.
Thanks, Xavier. Talk soon. All right, man.
See you, Kirk.
Like how people who haven't been doing this for a long time don't remember Xavier joining in the old locker room, the way old chat. All right, we got my man Tyron who's popped in and out. But I saw him earlier in line, so I'm going to give him a shot. What's up, Tyron? All right, Tyron, I'm going to punch you. We'll try again in a little bit. We're going to go to Mr. Klotz. What's going on tonight?
Yo, hey, Kirk, can you hear me?
I can. What's on your mind?
Just, I see people, obviously, Josh Green's got his weaknesses. He's not amazing, but it's just killing me that Luka went on old man in the 3. I think it was during All-Star break. He went back to meet with JJ and just straight up told the world, like, hey, blitzing is awesome. I love it because we're the most blitz team ever.
Yep.
Did you see that?
I did see that. That was interesting. It was. I'm not.
I just feel like I was like, so ever since then, we've seen every team pretty much play us straight up and just say Luka and Kai can beat us. We're not going to keep trying to throw these crazy traps.
Well, it's the 73-point game where Luka was given free reign to score as many points as possible, and the Hawks still had a chance to win.
Yeah, it's a problem. Like, I think we've been figured out, and to me, it's just fire Kidd. Like, fire him now. They're not going to do it, of course. But
they're not going to do it. He's the only thing they can change, but that's where we are. It's tough.
Like, yeah, like this, it also, like, the fact that we were 7 games in a row, that was Luka's longest win streak. Like, looking back, when Dirk was here, we had, by year 4, we were a 50-win team. We were a 50-win team for a decade. It took us 11 years of 50-win straight seasons to make the finals twice and win one title. So that's like the level of high pedigree play year after year after year that you have to have as a franchise to even sniff a title. You know, same thing as in a lot of sports, right? Like 49ers always in the conversation in the NFL.
Sure.
So it's just killing me to watch this team like flame out and burn after 2 years ago when it looked like they were on the rise. Lucas Starr was on the rise. He single-handedly whooped the shit out of the Suns in a series. And now it's
there have been multiple players during my time as a hardcore NBA fan where teams have mortgaged the future to try to be good now. The LeBron Cavaliers in the mid 2000s.
Yeah.
The Anthony Davis Pelicans were another team. Luka Doncic and the Mavericks. And I am staring at this Wemby situation in San Antonio, and there's nothing wrong with building a team slowly. Look at Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and what the Oklahoma City Thunder have built. You know, granted, no one will talk about this, but they tank like crazy to get the team that they did. They also drafted well and things work out, but they built slow. And anytime you hurry a rebuild, if it doesn't work, and frankly, it didn't work for LeBron, not really working for the Mavericks, didn't work for Anthony Davis, you end up in this painful situation, and there's not much to be done about it.
Yeah, I agree. It's killing me right now that, you know, we have two of the most creative guys on the planet, and our coaching staff can't utilize players in a more meaningful way. Like, you know, watching a Rick Carlisle coach team out there tonight with the talent, like Rick didn't have, I know he had Kristaps, but let's face it, he had Kristaps one every 3 or 4 games.
Yeah.
But and then he came back injured and was never the same after COVID and everything. But seeing like how he gets the most out of his players, remembering like, you know, some of the guys that he helped kind of create mini careers for, it just kills me seeing kids sit there throughout the third quarter, literally sitting on the fucking bench, not even hands in his pocket, just sitting there on the bench, just watching. No one's dying. He's just watching. He's having a good time.
Yeah.
He's a piece of crap. Anyway, I am ready to go. Just throw out my season tickets, everything, and so I'm not renewing next year. Fuck this team right now.
Woo!
Yeah.
Well,
so the stands aren't going to get my money.
All right, we'll talk soon. All right, coming up next to Sam. Sam, what's up, man?
Hey, can you hear me?
I can. What's going on?
Oh, I mean, at this point, I don't got a lot to say because everybody's pretty much.
Oh, you're allowed to say it aloud. This is why it's group therapy. Did Nick Angstad call for the firing of Jason Kidd? I'm watching him give a video from the arena, but I can't actually listen to it because we're talking. Somebody's gonna have to report to me in the chat. But yeah, what's going on, Sam?
Well, I mean, I would agree. I think we got to fire Kidd, but the only way that's going to happen at this point is if either Luka or Kyrie say we need to fire him, so I'm gonna do it. So at this point, it's just kind of we're just wasting our breath talking about it because Mark's not going to do it, so it's not going to happen. So at this point, I honestly don't know what else you can do, but it's just the fact that I actually looked this up a couple of days ago, just as far as Kidd's coaching career, because besides that one, his first year in Brooklyn where they made the playoffs,
No, he's had one good year, and that was the year we made it to the Western Conference Finals. He's the most mediocre ass coach there is.
Yeah, he had one good year in Brooklyn. He had one good year in Milwaukee. Other than that, he's been straight ass juice, and it's just like I don't get it. We had a 36-12 stretch the first year after we went 16-18, and besides that, we've had a 6-game winning streak and a 7-game winning streak. That's literally been it. And it's like the other guy said, when you got a guy like Dirk who's you're consistently winning 50 games every year, even if you're not even getting to the finals, you're consistently in the mix. You're like, okay, they may not get to the finals, but hey, worst case, they get to the second round. They might get to a Western Conference Finals. And then we got to the finals twice with Dirk and whoever, Jason Terry, Jerry Stackhouse, Josh Howard, whoever. We were able to actually, and he wasn't a great defender either. I mean, he was a great team defender, but he was not like a great individual defender, but the team was built with strengths where we could succeed. And I like PJ Washington. He hasn't been great offensively, but for the most part, I think he's done a good job defensively. Derek Lively's a rookie, so you can't really say nothing. I can't put nothing on him. He's a rookie.
Right. How much? Yeah, it's an expectations thing.
Yeah, and even this year, for what a rookie, what you expect, he's done great. So I can't be mad at him. It's just too much ball watching. Even the one play that really pissed me off was when Luka missed that layup and he was just holding his face down, and Daniel Gafford basically got the rebound. If he would have looked up, he could have got the ball. But he was so busy just moping because, oh man, I missed the layup. The ball just went right past him and then went out of bounds.
Yep.
So I don't know. Like this is so crazy because this is literally the same thing as last year. And if I don't think we're gonna miss the play in just because the only team I think that could make it at this point is Utah. If they get into 10 or 9. And they're playing a little better than they were, the last couple of weeks. So I don't want to say that it's not possible. But if we don't make the playoffs again,
I think they're going to be okay there. Like they would basically, Josh Bowe just posted a tweet. They play 10 games, 20 games left. They play 10 games under 500, 10 games over 500 based on correlation to what we've done before. The Mavericks ought to go 12-8 with what they've done. So like, I still think they're going to be okay in that regard. It's frustrating.
Yeah. I mean, 12-9, I guess is possible, but I don't know. Like we said that last year, and
yeah, no, that's true.
They lost to Detroit last year. God forbid we lose to Detroit this year. I thought we would go at least 5-1 in the 6-game stretch with the Sixers game and this game, and then we might lose to Miami, but we'll beat Detroit, we'll beat Chicago. But I don't know. I mean, Chicago beat Sacramento last night, and they came back from like a 20-point deficit. So times is looking tough. But I don't fuck this team. That's all I got, man.
I love this. I'm looking at my Jason Kidd quotes from 2021 when he had just started. I wanted to fire Kidd in December of 2021.
Yeah. He's just not. Like if I trust me, I'm not trying to say I can coach a team.
I know what you mean. I know. We're fans. We're allowed to be pissed at our coach, and people that tell you otherwise can fuck off. Like you don't watch this to be mad. You watch this to watch the players. The end.
Yeah, I mean, but this is a very unserious organization. Like,
it feels like it, man.
Milwaukee. I mean, listen, I don't think they should have fired Adrian Griffith. I think he kind of got hoed, but they did it, and they brought in the coach. Now look at him. So it's like, if they can do it, why can't we? But hey, sure. Jamal Mosley, we could have had him, but whatever. I don't want to talk about it no more.
Right, we'll talk soon. Thanks, Sam.
Have a good one.
Okay, we're gonna bring up Tyron again. See if he's had a chance. There we go, Tyron. What's going on, my man?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. How you doing?
Right. Yeah, I'm doing all right. Well, better that I'm back home. Sorry about the technical difficulties earlier. I actually got to experience that bullshit live.
No, I'm so sorry.
It was pretty bad, and I couldn't wait to get home to tell you. I know your stance on referees, but God, Kirk, if you were there tonight, you could just feel how Tony Brothers sucked the energy out of the American Airlines Center. It was bad. Him, I was going to say just him. No, it was the whole freaking referee team tonight sucked the energy out of the building. After about the third or fourth ref, you suck, unanimous ref, you suck, you could just, the whole energy in the building shifted. Everybody was just completely tuned out of the game, including the Mavericks. So like, you wouldn't get that feeling just from watching the game on TV. So being there, I get it. I get why the team checked out, because we couldn't get shit. It was ridiculous. However, I do agree with you in the fact that I was just waiting for Jason Kidd to do anything.
Did he ever get in brother's face or anything like that?
Absolutely not. He did the casual, me put my hands in my pockets and, stroll up to you and, hey, Tony, what's going on, man? Hey, and what does that result in? That results in fucking TJ McConnell killing us in the third and fourth quarter. TJ McConnell's probably my height.
No, he really is. He looks like a creative player. If somebody was like if I were to create myself in a game, that's what that dude would look like.
It was so bad. And I mean, I hate to call for anybody's job, whether they deserve it or not. But tonight, I mean, was just
sure.
It was just blatant. And I'm not gonna hold you up. I know you got a lot of people on here waiting to get up. Why aren't we seeing more Hardy? Like, if I have to see Tim Hardaway Jr.
I have no
bring
idea.
the ball up the court one more freaking time, why?
It's incredible. It's incredible.
I mean,
I
Jaden
have
Hardy
no
is
clue.
literally a walking bucket. You know, in an instance where we need scoring because nobody was hitting shit, put Hardy in. Don't put
But
Tim Hardaway Jr. in.
It's gonna be if above all else, it'll be a different look, and I will take that.
And anything at this put freaking Morrison in at this point, like anything.
Man, thanks so much for joining. I appreciate you hopping back on.
Yeah. All right, man. Take care, Kirk.
All right, talk soon.
All right.
Okay, we're gonna go to Zach next. I'm gonna go to people in order as they come up. Zach, what's going on, man?
How you doing, man?
A little bit of a struggle bus tonight. I'm kind of hitting a wall, but I want to power through. What are we thinking? What's going on tonight?
I'm just thinking, man, like, what can we get this off season for Maxi Kleber and Tim Hardaway Jr. in a second?
Nothing. Like nothing. Sorry.
Oh man.
I think we'll probably we'll probably be able to get away with Tim in the off season.
Oh my goodness, man. Like, it's just one of those things, man. Like, the thing about Kid is it's like he won't make adjustments. Like, he'll keep going back to that same well. Maxi Kleber, Tim Hardaway Jr. Oh, they're struggling. Like, I would rather see Omax over Kleber at this point.
That's right.
I really would.
I would too, because at least it's something different.
And he can do more. Like, I just feel like the energy was. That's the only thing about Kid, man. Like, he just won't make adjustments. I made a tweet earlier. Let me be honest. I didn't watch the game because I had to go to my aunt's birthday today, and
It's one of the most upsetting games I've watched this year.
I'm a homer. I don't miss a game. Let's be honest. But I mean, I missed today's. I'm probably gonna rewatch it because I recorded it. But I tweeted that Rick Carlisle was gonna outcoach, out-adjust Rick Carlisle, and without even watching the game, I look up and I check the score. I'm like, oh well, I'm not surprised because here we are. We go back to the same drop defense, the same thing that wasn't working, the same Maxi Kleber minutes, the same Tim Hardaway Jr. minutes. It's just the same old same. The adjustments just aren't there. It's like, and that's why I think people are so fed up with Kid, man, because there are no adjustments. There's no accountability. There's just go out there and try it again.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. I mean, I understand why people are so fed up with him because it's the same old. It doesn't seem like there's any accountability. It doesn't seem like there's any urgency, man. It's just hands in the pockets, same old,
I do. It's very taxing. Well, I hope you don't get too frustrated watching the game tomorrow. And thank you for hanging out to talk with us.
Appreciate it, man.
All right. Talk soon. All right. It's been a while since we've had this next guy up. Ewan, it's late for you. What are you doing, my man?
Hey, what's up, man? It's been a while.
And looking handsome with a great beard. This is good. This is good stuff. That's what I'm talking about. What's going on?
Yeah, man. It's been rough for the last few months watching the team. I know I've been missing a lot of the lives due to the start times. I've been tired, so I haven't been able to really get on. But
I've been tired and also missing this, and this is my show, so don't you worry. It's the line from Office Space where he's like, I've been missing a lot of work. You've been missing a lot of work lately. I wouldn't say you've been missing it because this season has been not. It's another there's been patches of fun and a lot of bleh.
Well, it's like I'm glad everybody's kind of in the same mindset of how we feel with the Kid. The last two callers that came up, I agree 100%. It's like I've been saying it all year, even last year. Kid doesn't make no adjustments. Any adjustments that's made is based off the team, the opposing team. No, nobody's adjusting to us. Nobody's saying like they're gonna change their lineup, they're gonna change their scheme due to what we're doing, how we're affecting them. It's always we have to make the adjustment, we have to make the change. And I've always said Kid doesn't see things in advance. He doesn't see things like, well, those last two possessions looking shaky. We can't do this for another 2-3 minutes because we might lose the lead or the team might. He doesn't. It's been a painful watch, man. The last few months it has, and it's like I agree with everyone. Like you can't blame Tim Hardaway Jr. tonight because he played 10, 12 minutes.
He did. He was fine. And I discovered somebody just sent me this is an important video. This is an important video of Jason Kidd making coaching adjustments, and I want to show it to you right now. I'm sorry. For people who are listening on the audio podcast, I just sent him a gif of Michael Jackson pushing down the gun from whatever. God, what was that song? Sorry, I'm losing my mind, man. I'm losing my mind.
It's like, all right, we depended on Lively a lot in the beginning of the season, right?
Yep.
We made changes. We got Gafford. We see Lively still making a lot of rookie mistakes. This is crunch time. All these game matters. You may have to make a change. Start Gafford. Bring Lively in where he's playing against, backup bigs, backup centers, backup guards, where, those guys' aggressiveness may not be as aggressive as the starters. He's not going against the 5 best players on the team. You know what I'm saying? He's been against the bench guys, so he may be more effective that way.
Yep.
And it's like, of us being an unserious organization, you have your head coach, he goes to the podium and he's making KFC references. Like,
I've not even listened to him yet. Was it rough?
No, not this game. The game,
sure.
The last game, he's like, put some KFC chicken in Tim Hardaway Jr.'s locker. Like, how are we gonna take the franchise seriously? How opponents are gonna take us seriously? We're a joke. Like, we're a joke. And how can Luka look to this guy for leadership if this is the path we take? This is what comes out of him. You see Luka on the bench, he's pissed off, he's throwing the water, he's leaving, he's going to the locker room, and he got his hand over his head. And you see Kyrie just tapping him. Like, nah, be pissed off too. Show some emotion. Be upset. Like, show that it matters. Like, it's just it's been a painful watch, man. It's like, and you hear all these Luka stands and, people from national media, he ball hogs and he does this, he does that. But if you watch the possessions, Luka will come up the court, he'll hand the ball off to somebody else to do something, and they just pass it right back. So it's like,
that's right. It's like, I don't really want to do this. I'm going to pass you the ball right back.
And the lasting effect is the last 2 years, Nico has tried his best to upgrade the roster.
Yep.
Right? So the last 2 years, we've gotten better roster-wise, talent-wise, and we're getting the same result. The only thing that's left to say is the guy at the helm. That's
the only change you can make. Like, I don't even necessarily think it's all his fault, but he's the only person you can change. Like, everybody else are kind of locked in. So
yeah, but like I said, we're probably gonna back into the playoffs because the other teams are just like us, like up and down, up and down, up and down. Phoenix ended up winning tonight, but Utah so far out, we got to go on a catastrophic losing streak for Utah to somehow creep back into that 10th spot. But it's like I said, there's no creativity. There's a Luka pick and roll. That's it. And like you said, with Josh, Luka and the Kai pick and roll have been pretty effective. You get great possessions out of those. Why not running more? You're two best players.
I think because they don't want tape on it, but it's like if you're losing, sometimes desperate situations call for desperate measures. So, man, thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you.
Yeah, man. Lastly, just look down the bench and just give Dwight Powell. Give him. Maybe you need a joke to Dwight Powell in the game for 2-3 minutes.
No, that's too far. That's just mean. Man, you're the man. Thanks for hanging out.
Oh my god. All right, man. Until next time.
All right, so we got a lot of folks waiting. I'm going to go to my man Henry next. And then I see, I'm going to go to Glenn next, then to Henry, and then I got to let Tim Cato jump the line because he probably has work to do. Glenn, man, what's going on?
What's happening?
This is great. You're calling from the car.
I'm calling from the car because I've just left the game.
How was it tonight?
Do you see my eyes?
I can.
It was not good. This game is, I could be sleeping right now. I'm in a Whataburger drive-thru waiting to get my food, and I could have been doing something better. I'm gonna say this, man. Jason Kidd is like an unlikable Jason Garrett from the Cowboys because he doesn't do. We've talked about this. He does nothing as far as adjustments. Like for example, Gafford was in and he had a great day rebounding. He also had a great day with scoring because he didn't have Gafford switching like Lively was doing on the perimeter. So why not have Lively actually drop back and defend the paint? We are not going to be able to stop these three-pointers, man. Our team is garbage with playing defense. We could at least win on the boards, though. Second chance points, things like that. Play toward our strengths. Nope. He saw it work with Gafford, didn't even want to try it with Lively. It's not only the unwillingness to make adjustments, it's the stubbornness to just stick with what he has, because I feel like he thinks he's the smartest person in every single basketball room.
Which is usually true. But
Well,
you're playing against Rick, and Rick is the guy when it comes to this stuff.
yeah, being smart and actually being able to have your team execute what you have on paper. I'm sure this man has great theories with his coaching schemes and it looks good on a chalkboard. But with 5 other basketball players that are some of the best in the world, it sometimes just doesn't work. The offense looks stagnant since the All-Star break.
Sure.
The defense looks worse. And like I said earlier, I think it's because people have tape on us.
I think so too, yeah.
But that's the thing. Coaches adjust to what they see. They've been doing that. You mean to tell us we can't do that? We just roll the ball out. Matter of fact, we continue to do the things that don't get us results.
Well,
Because
we've seen Kid make adjustments before. Some of the things he's done in particular series and particular games have been really quite brilliant, but I feel like they've just turned the slider off and he's not coaching anymore.
I don't know what he's doing. And I don't know if they have. Has he done his press conference yet today?
Yeah, he did, and I haven't watched it yet. I usually don't watch those just because they fire me up too much.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't know what the answer is. I do know. I don't think Kid's going anywhere. I'm sure they will. Sean Sweeney and Jared Dudley will all kind of fall on the sword involuntarily because we're kind of stuck in a position where it's a package deal. The Nico Kid, Kyrie Irving package deal, and I see people calling for Kyrie's head. I mean, this guy kind of carried us for a little bit.
Yeah.
And he has a few bad games, but I'm going to tell you, if the scheme is about effort, the defensive scheme is about effort, and the reason why Kid says we're not playing good defense is because we're not giving the max effort that we need, like Derrick Jones Jr. said, there's only one person responsible for all 12 players on the roster not giving effort, and it's not Cuban and it's not Luka, it's Kid.
It's tough, man. Good takes. What are you still waiting in Whataburger?
I am waiting at water. Matter of fact, this lady's about to get my order right now, so I'm going to allow you to talk to somebody else for these next few moments.
Thanks so much. You be good.
Have a good night, man.
All right. Coming up next, a little guy from an outlet called The Athletic. His name's Timothy Cato, star of Dune 2. What's going on?
Did I star in that?
I don't know. I've been making Dune 2 like jokes all night because I said.
Well, dude, I've been so high on Spice, like I don't even remember what happened the past few weeks. I probably was in it.
So what's happening, man? Did you have to go tonight? I mean, I'm assuming yes because it's your job, but sometimes weird shit happens.
Yeah, I just got home. Yeah, I walked back to my apartment, starting to put together a little article on it that's going to be posted tomorrow. I don't know. What do you want to ask me? I guess, I mean, I've got one kind of big picture thought, but is there anything that has been a common theme that?
I mean, folks are really I think that there's the common theme is everybody is sick of Kid, but I don't necessarily think everyone agrees that it's all Kid's fault, but that Kid is kind of the one solution where it's like, that's the only thing you could change. Unfortunately, everyone also agrees more or less that he ain't going nowhere. So
I have no clue. I mean, if maybe he's not back next year. I don't know with certainty he's back next year. I don't know with certainty that he's not. I don't know. I wouldn't. All I know is that I wouldn't say for sure he's.
Well, of course not. There's too many games left. So it's the kind of thought is what the hell do they do? Because they've been so bad since the All-Star break, and it's kind of unfathomable.
I thought Luka was ass defense. I thought he was so bad defensively.
Yeah, he was. And him. A lot of guys. Yeah.
Kyrie has been very bad lately. He's been very gambly. He's very free. He's completely freelancing. It feels like a lot. Obviously, Tim Hardaway Jr. is bad on that end. I think there's a combination. I think this roster. There is some combination of scheme and personnel and lineup that can make them a decent defensive team. I just think it's really hard to do when Luka's not buying in. I think that if, Jason Kidd likes to say that, their offense is their defense. This is, hang on, let me find the tab. He's not totally wrong. when Dallas, so when Dallas defends after a missed field goal, worst team in the league. They allow 1.25 points per possession.
That's hard.
When
That's hard.
they defend after a made field goal, they are the 6th best defense.
Well, then let's pivot away from the defense for a second and think about the offense, because
Actually, I might have that wrong. Hang on.
So Josh
Well,
Bozeman
it's still bad after that, but sorry, go ahead.
This is how I know you, Josh, and Bobby Corrala are all like part of some basketball hive mind, because you all think about shit the same, even if you don't talk to each other. Josh has been talking on the show for about 4 games now that they're essentially no longer doubling Luka, meaning defenses. So Luka's seeing a lot of single coverage, and then maybe some late stuff once he's in the key, but he's basically being challenged to score all the points because they're not giving him easy passes. Then when I mentioned this to Bobby in a message, he shot me a video that he did on Mavs.com that basically shows this and shows what the counters are. I actually recommend going and taking a look at it. It's only like a minute.
We should all watch more Bobby.
Yeah, Bobby's
his stuff is not enough part of the discourse.
No, it's hidden behind team media stuff. But like Bobby's quite brilliant, and he shows kind of what the counters are. And the counters aren't very good because it's like they run high Spain pick and roll to get different looks at different points. But I feel like when you play a guy like Rick Carlisle, who kind of knows your moves as well as you do, all of your counter punches are blocked before you even get a chance to throw them. And I mean, go ahead.
Here's how I'll lay it out. And again, I believe that there is some combination of scheme, lineup, personnel that could work with a very good coach who knows just how to blend it together. But this team has a lot of idiosyncrasies. They have a lot of parts that don't fit well together. Offensively, you look at PJ Washington. Hit some threes tonight, but for the most part, we have seen that he has been an inconsistent spot-up shooter, so he makes a lot of sense as a screener. You want him slipping in, you want him slipping, you want him catching, you want him in the mid, near the free throw line, being able to make moves from there. That's really hard to do when you're playing 4 out. They traded for Gafford, doubling down on the idea that they want to play 4 out. They want to have a non-shooting big at the court, on the court for the most part. That's a big reason why Maxey has been closing games, because they feel PJ has to close games. He is the 3rd best player. I think they're probably right.
I think they're right too.
But he is amplified. Some of his weaknesses, some of his spot up shooting is covered up when you could play theoretically a stretch 5 in Maxey. The same goes on the other end. They play a lot of drop coverage. This is the worst drop coverage team.
I don't understand. Why they
give up
keep
the
playing
most points against drop coverage more than any other team, but they play this really soft drop coverage because they're trying to hide Luka. They're trying to make sure that Luka isn't stuck in rotations.
I think that's a mistake, though. I
agree, and I think that they should show higher.
You're going to give the guy like enough, like you're going to his next contract is going to be more money than Dirk made in a lifetime. I think we can ask him to rotate. He's not a baby. Challenge him a little bit and see what happens. He's a big boy.
And yes, I agree with that. They hired Jason Kidd, who has a below average track record because he was supposed to be someone who could get through to Luka. If he can't do that,
what are we doing?
If he was doing that, you could understand, you could bear with some of the stuff because you're like, well, he's getting more out of Luka. But yeah, I mean, it's if you've got to make up for Luka, then all of a sudden you're playing this drop coverage. So you have Josh Green going way high over screens.
Yeah.
He's bad at that. We know this. But they don't have a player who can navigate it, and then all of a sudden you're stuck. That begs the Jalen Smith poster. You remember that?
Yes.
That was off drop coverage. Gafford was poorly positioned. He was containing the drive. I think it was Josh Green. I think it was Dante Exum. But he's trailing way over the screen. All of a sudden, Jalen Smith is basically at the nail, catching a very easy pocket pass. Luka would have been the guy to rotate. Luka doesn't move. Now, look, he might not have got there in time, or maybe it was a failed defensive possession to start with. Maybe Jalen Smith just kicks to the corner and it's easy. It's yet another corner 3. But you at least want a center like that having to make that pass, and then Exum has a chance to trickle down. That's not quite their X rotation that they always try to do, but that's similar.
Mhm.
But yeah, Luka didn't make that rotation. And so even, he didn't even get to the point that he could fail at a rotation later in the possession
That's right.
because he doesn't make the first one and it's a dunk and one. And so
And look,
just
guys,
a lot of parts of this
just
team don't fit cleanly. And it's really hard to see how they fit cleanly. I think there's a way. Jason Kidd might not be the coach to do it.
no. And this is the thing where you get people, you get, and look, there's a bunch of whining crybabies in the chat that said, you said a mean thing about Luka Doncic. How dare you imply that he's not God's gift to basketball? First of all, I implore all of you people to shut the fuck up. This is like this stuff is like, you can go find this stuff on tape. It's not mean. It's not like it's okay to say the amazing basketball player did things poorly. We
He also
know
played
this.
every minute starting the second quarter on.
Yeah.
Why would you, if you're watching him not play, why would you keep playing him? You have to find moments to take him out of the game and let the co-star, like, that is a coaching thing. That is not a Luka thing. There's a lot that goes into this. The coach is absolutely responsible for so much.
Because like the guy, neither him nor Kyrie have legs right now, and we just got out of All-Star break. So what are we doing?
Yeah.
Tim, what else you got? That's it.
I think I'll end it there. I mean, I know you don't really do like side pods anymore, but like, yeah, we could easily hash this out for 40 minutes.
Sure.
at some point.
No, I mean,
I don't know if I have time
I'm
for
just
that.
so, I'm really, and again, were I your editor, I would want to know not why the defense is bad. Because we know why the defense is bad. I want to know why the offense has gone to shit and how to fix it.
I think there's simpatico. I really do. I do
Sure.
think Jason Kidd's right about that. I really do think
But if
that
you,
he's been
if
together.
to improve the defense, you fix the offense. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
They're not as good of a shooting team as they used to be.
That's right. All right, team. Thanks so much,
I'll
Tim.
bring you on my pod soon. We'll
We'll talk
something.
soon.
Make it happen. Thanks for bringing me on. See ya.
So we have 3 people left, and I can hear my 4-month-old making noise, and I need to go help my wife work with some of that. So I'm going to bring on Henry, and then we're going to fly through people, and then I got to go. So Henry, you've been waiting patiently. What are you thinking?
It's all good, my guy. I'm actually calmer after this loss than anything else because I saw it coming. I mean, Rick Carlisle pretty much has his number. He coaches him. So, I mean, Nick Nurse with Philly, we lost that. Out coach this one. Rick Carlisle, out coach. And on Thursday with Eric Spoelstra, we're going to lose that game as well. So I'm just kind of sitting, chilling in it, to be honest with you. I can't remember his name, but the guy from New York, when he hopped in here and he said that Kai and Luka cannot work, that's actually incorrect. They can. However, they don't because of the lack of offensive scheme. Like, I don't understand how you have 2 people who are so dynamic, who are so good on offense, and go stretches without offense. Like, it simply doesn't make sense. There's no offensive scheme. There's no identity. We're missing our Draymond Green, kind of someone to hold it all together. But I made a tweet and I tagged you in it. I don't know if you saw it. I shared it with you. I said that we need to hire Mike Buds as the coach, bring in Luka's Slovenian head coach, as well as Igor Kokosko, for however you say his name. Obviously, fire Kid, get Tim out of way, Tim out of here, and build anew. Because there's no reason why Luka in Slovenia matches run sets almost every single play. He moves without the ball. He's cutting. Like, he does so much in Slovenian basketball. It does absolutely none of it here.
Yeah.
Did you count how many times we got destroyed by that Hallie Turner pick and roll? Like, we couldn't.
It was
stop
a million.
You know what I mean? Like, we doing no adjustments from the last time we played it. I just think I don't know if he can't. I mean, obviously, like that other guy said, coaching record in Brooklyn was terrible. Milwaukee was even worse. If you go and look up the story behind that, if you know, you know. And then once he left, they won a ring. So, what do you feel like was your major takeaway? Because I've lost all emotional and mental connection in this team. So I'm at peace. So
I mean, that's why I don't have major takeaways yet, because I still need to read all the post-game stuff, but it feels like the team knows there's a problem, and I'm interested to see if they finally answer it. But you would have figured 5 losses in 6 games would have done that themselves. Like team meetings and talking to one another for professional athletes, I think is mildly overrated. But I don't know. It's such a frustrating situation we're in.
Honestly, I want to see Kai fucking yell. Like, I need Kai where he's yelling to the crowd saying, come on, like, he's too fucking kumbaya, peaceful and shit now. Like, now I need that arrogant Batman Kai back. But
that's right.
I'm gonna go ahead and hop out of here, man. I hear the little one.
Oh man. Ooh, sorry. All right, man.
All right.
All right, so Cade, I'm really sorry. Doe, I'm really sorry. I have to go. You guys can hear the baby. I have to head out for the night. Everybody be good. I appreciate everyone hanging out for so long in the chat. We'll talk soon. We'll be back on Thursday night. And Cade, if you come in, shoot me a text or an email, something like that. And a Twitter DM or something. I'll answer any questions you have. All right. Please leave a review of the show. Please subscribe. Everybody be good. Go Mavs.